like the blue dress. Yeah, that looks different.
Jerry, it sounds like we got a studio audience and you've got your own like Saturday Night Live band or something.
Well, you can't see them. They're off camera, actually.
Oh, that's some fancy highbrow shit.
Yeah, we're still working on the intro, but, you know, at least now it's a little more up to date and it doesn't have Richard Hatch on it. Sandra, for you.
Girl, because I will leave quick, fast, and in a hurry.
I know, and I don't want you to leave. You know, it's great tonight. It's just our TV Zone veterans, Sandra, Yaman, Lex, and myself. We have a lot to talk about, but first I just wanted to bring up the fact that Lex, what is the newest news with you? I know you want everyone to know about this.
Oh, well, thanks for that perfect little lead-in. My band, the Maids of Honor, just released our second record. I guess kids aren't calling them records these days, but we released an EP on iTunes, Amazon.com, CD Baby. It's up on Facebook, so if you go to my Maids of Honor Facebook page, you can buy it right from Facebook. And it's only $6, 6-song EP, The Maids of Honor, and the title of the EP is Perk, P-E-R-C.
Awesome. Awesome.
Yeah, so check it out. It'll whoop your ass with the majesty of sweet rock and roll.
Ooh, I like it. Did you say it's only $6?
Uh-huh.
For the whole album?
Wow.
What a
What?
deal.
Yeah. Yeah.
Everybody should get that. I mean, my gosh, who can afford that?
I mean, that's cheaper than beer. It's cheaper than porn. What's go wrong?
I wouldn't know.
I don't know about cheaper than porn. I get all my porn for free.
Oh, yeah, man. Yeah, I wanted to ask you about the last time you were on the show. There was a lot of buzz on the internet about it, and apparently you're quite the legend now for pulling down Krista's top.
I couldn't resist it. You know, she had her boobs done last year. She was very proud of it, and so she kept talking about it, and I said, well, then you have to show it off. So... And
yeah, if
we
you're gonna
both
pay
have
for
enough
it.
to drink, and she have enough to smoke that it didn't matter.
He knew she was vulnerable.
Yes, and so was I.
He set her
She
up.
could have taken advantage of me too, but...
Oh, well, you did drive down to the Reality Rally together, didn't you?
Yes, in a very small car.
Of course you didn't drive after you were drinking, I'm sure.
No. We had to go to dinner, and that's why we had a late start, and then we got lost, and that's why we didn't get to the resort till like midnight.
Wait, but if you're like this big old computer geek kind of person, why don't you have a GPS that'll take you straight there?
But the resort gave us
You
the
were
wrong
distracted
city.
by her tits. That's what it was.
My hands was on the wheel all the way down there, okay?
Right.
Oh, I don't want to ask. Yeah, where her hands were.
I want to know where her boobs were. Were they in the passenger seat or in the back seat? Like,
I have no back seat in my car. I have a smart car that have no back seat.
so did she set her boobs down in your lap? Is that how it worked?
What kind of smart car doesn't have a back seat anyway?
It doesn't have a back seat.
A smart car doesn't have a back seat.
That ain't right.
That's why it's a smart car.
All right, well, let's just jump straight into the episode. I don't know about you guys. I'm really, truly bummed that Troyzan is gone. What a bummer, man. I know they opened up the episode with him talking about the hopeless situation that they were in, and Tarzan was talking to him about it. I felt for him because I think Troyzan was the one who really fought tooth and nail to stay in this game, and just to see him go was just sad.
He was also one of just a tiny handful of people on this whole crew that from the very beginning were actually fighting hard to play a hard game. I mean, a lot of people, there's a lot of, in my mind, there's a lot of coattail riders, a lot of people that are kind of taking advantage of situations and whatnot. But as far as hardcore, get in the driver's seat strategists that are willing to do whatever it takes, even if it means exposing themselves, I mean, you could count them on 3 or 4 fingers max. Those that are always more fun to watch on Survivor as long as they last.
And he's also taking the risk by being so out and out with his, sort of ranting against his own tribe and so on. I mean, he would just, people would think that that's a dumb play to be so, quote unquote, obnoxious about winning, and when he did win, yeah, I agree with you. That's really a big time player and very, out there.
And the fact that, I mean, he's that's why I totally related to him, because I was always, for better or worse, I was kind of my own worst enemy out there. And you know, when you don't temper everything you say or think about everything you say before it comes out of your mouth, it makes for great TV. We're not thinking about that when we're out there playing, but it also makes for, you know, a pretty precarious journey from start to finish, because you're telling people how you feel about them. You're having, you know, mental and emotional breakdowns. And I mean, I really related to them, because in both my games, I never really, all I could be was real. I didn't really give a shit what I said or what the repercussions or the consequences were, and it wasn't because I was thinking about it, it's because I couldn't help myself. And Troyzan appears to me to be the same kind of guy. He's emotional, and he can only be real.
Yeah, and I mean, I really appreciated the fact that he was trying so hard to get other people to see that they were in a very precarious situation. I mean, look at Tarzan. Now he's on the very, very, very bottom of the totem pole, and he had the opportunity to turn that around twice. And so did Christina and Alicia. They both, although Alicia now I wonder where she stands, but you know, they had this shot at it, and I mean, I understand. Okay, the thing is, I understand to some degree. You know, you've got someone who's clearly in charge, Kim, who is doing a wonderful job of playing all sides and making people feel like they all have a chance to be in the finals with her. And that is a very smart and very hard way to play all the time. But she's somehow pulling it off.
You think Tarzan can pull another Vanuatu?
No way. No.
What do you mean by
that?
When Chris was letting.
Oh gosh. I don't think so. Not this time around. Yeah, it's not looking good for him.
Sandra? Wait, before you guys move off of the whole Troyzan topic here, I just wanted to say that although he is gone and although he got voted off, I feel like he's still in the game, because he still whispered into Kat's ear. Everyone's going to be like, what in the hell did he tell Kat? Was he maybe possibly able to somehow sway her to where she almost could have flipped? Or even once he goes to Ponderosa, what I call Loser's Lodge, because I don't like Ponderosa. That's a very nice name. I call it Loser's Lodge. Once he gets to Loser's Lodge.
I know. You've never been, Sandra.
Hey, but
you're not allowed to call it that. You've never been.
Hey, once he gets to Loser's Lodge, he can still dictate and talk to these people and let them know what happened, what he saw. He can still turn all these people against whomever, which goes back to something I was reading about Coach the other day, saying that once people go to Ponderosa, they should be separated. They shouldn't be allowed to talk, because that's when their brains start getting swayed by people that are pissed off.
It's all part of the game, Sandra.
And he claims that that's why he didn't win. But all I'm saying is that I don't think we've heard the last of Troyzan. I think he's still going to be playing the game from Loser's Lodge.
Well, and you know what? I think people should totally be able to play afterwards. I mean, the game is still, as Tarzan would say, the game is still afoot at the Ponderosa.
I wish somebody put a foot in his ass. I'm tired of that old man.
I want him to put his own foot in his mouth a little deeper so he can't pull it back out. But
I think his days are numbered next
week. To me, it sounds like Coach is just being bitter when he talks about how he doesn't like people talking to, you know, honestly, if people have something to, if they're talking shit about you, it's because you gave them shit to talk about. And if you did, then tough luck. Too bad.
Yeah, that's part of the game, is knowing that.
In my Fiji season, when I got to Ponderosa, Loser's Lodge, we were not allowed to talk about the game. We could talk about.
Yeah, but you did. But you did.
Yeah.
Well, no. If we were always. What? I was there for only 3 days, so we were.
You pull tops down. You don't follow rules.
No, I was a nice guy then.
Oh, fuck that, man. We talked a lot, and if they said you can't talk all night, that's just the way it is.
Yeah, in Australia,
no one's going to tell me I can't talk. I mean, at that point, what do I have to lose? I'm off the game. I'm not going to win $1 million. I'm going to talk if I want to talk.
You know what? In Australia, you know, way back then, I don't know about you, Lex, but they literally kept us in separate rooms. And when the only time we were together was when we were eating meals, and then all those people were sitting there watching us the entire time, making sure we weren't saying anything.
You know, I mean, the only experience I had with it was at All-Stars, because in Africa, I went until the 38th day, so I had one night, so we basically ate a meal together, and then we were shooting the finale the next day. So I didn't have any time at the Ponderosa. In fact, by the time I got voted out in Africa, they were no longer at the Ponderosa. They just had a few tents, just kind of outside tribal. And we were just, living in some tents. Now, on All Stars, I think things had started to change a bit, and I think they were sick of having to get a bunch of people to chaperone and babysit, and they were like, you know what? Fucking do what you're going to do.
Yeah.
And we did.
Jerry, but what about heroes and villains? You guys had the freedom to talk.
Well, I was only there for one night. So I didn't really get to see much, but I will say that as soon as I got to that place, everyone was dancing and drinking and whatnot, and the stuff that I heard about Russell was so despicable and so disgusting that, when I got voted off, Jeff said, who are you going to vote for to win? I said, I don't know. Russell has played a pretty aggressive game. I got to give him props. I might vote for him to win $1 million. But once I got to that Ponderosa and I heard backstories on what he was doing and saying to people that I didn't see because it was one-on-one with other people, I was so repulsed and disgusted that at that point I was like, he's going to have to really win me over. So yeah, it definitely influenced me, and I think that it still does.
You reap what you sow. That's what the Ponderosa.
That's what Ponderosa is.
Reap what you sow.
That's how you get the information on what happened before you went, what happened after, how you find out everything to make the best judgment possible. So a lot of people might say bitter people this, bitter people that, but I think Ponderosa is where you find out exactly what you didn't know. So anyway, back to Troyzan. I think now he's going to go in there. He's going to let them know what happened after they all left, because they can't expect Tarzan to tell them too much because that dude don't know shit. And he's with the girls, and he's just a free vote. He just doesn't want to go home. I understand that whole philosophy, but anyway,
he'll do whatever it takes at this point
to stay in the game. So,
but let's not forget that there's a jury of only dudes
right
now.
Yes.
And you know what? That's where Kim's game. There's a little bit of a short game point of view there, because she's not thinking about the fact that she's going to have to somehow be counting on a lot of male votes to get her $1 million. If there was a single dude, it's probably the only. And to her credit, if there was a single dude left, if Troyzan actually was left, she kept him around thinking that she could beat him, he'd have a few votes just because the dudes would be bitter about the girls playing them all out.
You know what? In Heroes versus Villains too, although everybody knows that I wanted to flip, at the same time too, it being an all jury of heroes, it was like, this is the only way a villain could win, because had it been any one hero still left in the game, they would have had all those hero votes. So at the same time, you were forced to have to take them out if you even wanted a vote sent your way. So, I don't think they're thinking the whole thing through. So,
yeah, I think at this point, the season is looking pretty, what's the word I'm looking for right now?
Predictable?
Thank you. Yes, predictable. And
see, that's why I say if Tarzan make it to the end, he wins.
He'll never make it. He will never make it.
I agree. I agree with everything you just said.
On.
Get the fuck out of here. I can't even see him because I'm right here.
I did it.
I'm like under him, so I only see his eyebrows.
Well, it's too bad, Sandra. It's like,
welcome to the
yeah. It's so funny. We were just talking about
you've had fans, all of us. You've had fans in all of us for sure this season. We've all been rooting for you, and last night was sad. It was a sad night.
Hey, I cried. I mean, hey, I'm telling you, I cried. It's like, I'm glad I'm here. I'm trying to jack myself up again. It's like,
How crazy is it to watch it? Like, I talked to you a little bit about this today, just to sit back and watch the season as it envelops on TV. Like, it's unnerving, isn't it? Drives you a little crazy.
You go away from it for like 7 months, and then all of a sudden, you're back and you're watching like all the crap that was, that you went through, and you're like reliving it, and that's tough to me to because you become friends with everybody after the game. We're all one big happy group, and then you start to see the shit go down again. I'm like, F these chicks again. Like, I don't even want to talk to them.
Yeah, it's always fun you see what they say about you behind your back. Like that's the hardest thing to watch, I think, even for us that have played it more than once. It's still difficult when you think you've got some kind of relationship with somebody, and then all of a sudden they say the worst things behind your back. You're just like,
yeah, you
ouch.
don't. It's like the people. It's like when they get on the outside, it's just a facade of who they are. Because I feel like what you really are is out there. What you have deep inside you comes out.
You are absolutely right.
I totally agree.
I mean,
oh my God.
Totally agree. It is like the litmus test. It's like a lie detector test. When you go out there, it is so raw, and everything, all the social niceties are stripped away. You're starving. You're fighting for $1 million. It's a test, ultimately a test of character. Can you easily lie and cheat, or do you feel for people or not? All of these things become totally apparent
and the fact
when you
that,
strip all the bullshit away.
Right, and not only that, because of that, they have to be real, right? They have to starve you. They have to make you have sleepless nights. They have to make you wake up with bugs covering your body, and you cannot, like, yeah, if you're in a comfortable bed, you can, to pretend to like people that you don't like, but after, a few weeks of being completely stressed out, you're pissed at whoever you're pissed, you just, right in their face. I mean, that's the way they get you guys to be real.
Yeah, no, it really, that's who you are. I mean, out there, it's deep down inside. All this on the outside is just a facade, like I'm the happy camper, and the girls are all going to act like they're not deceitful or they're not lying. I mean, if you have the ability to lie a little bit in the game, you have the ability to lie a little bit in your real life. Or if you have the ability to be a little bit deceitful, you're going to be a little bit deceitful. If you're a real asshole on the game and just, oh, well, that was just me, I just got perturbed. No, you're really an asshole, like a lot, or whatever.
I always say that.
I'm so glad you actually bring that up, Troyzan, because there seems to be, there are fewer and fewer players that really choose to talk about that side of Survivor and that side of the game, about, how real that is, and don't just say, oh, I was edited this way or whatever. But I mean, the truth of it is, it's like you said, if you have no problem lying to someone's face on Survivor, or calling them, an asshole behind their back and then being nice to them in their face, that is how you probably are at the office. It's probably how you were in school. It's who you are. I mean, you can't just say, I do that for Survivor. And I'll tell you, I wanted nothing more than to be that lying, deceiving, go all the way guy on All Stars. And I remember I had an interview with People Magazine like 2 days before. You remember, Jerry? People Magazine was on the island. They interviewed us and said, what are you going to do different this time? And I said, you know what? They're never going to see me coming, because in Africa, I was the total, like, the guy that was honest and told everybody everything. And to my own, destruction, I was honest. And this time, they're going to think I'm honest, and I'm going to lie through my teeth until I get to the end. And as soon as I was out there and I had that first fork in the road and I had to decide whether to lie or not, I was like, fuck, I can't do it. It's $1 million. It's $1 million fuck up, but I can't lie about this, and I can't deceive. And of course, it hosed me, but it's who I am.
I did the same exact thing. I thought, I'm going in. I can tell a story. I'll be able to bullshit these people. They asked me that question, like, there's going to be religious people out there. I said, I'll make them think I'm Jesus Christ himself. And I get out there. It's like, and I said, I'm never going to trust anybody 100%. I might get in trouble with saying this, but I wasn't going to side with any Christians, because I thought these Christian people, they're the ones who tell the most bullshit.
I'm gonna high five you on that one.
I just ended up, I ended up really just being myself. I mean, what you guys saw out there, that's who I am. I mean, if I get angry, I got angry. If I was happy, I was happy. If I started to cry, I started to cry. I mean, what you saw is really, that's me. I mean, pretty much.
What happens that the editing also, because they know the outcome, right? They know the result. They have psychological profile tests of you. So what the editing does is that amplify all the particular characteristics 1,000%. So are you who you are? Well, yes, because it's now amplified, and you go, really? That's how they do with the editing.
Yeah, I mean, I have to say from personal experience that, I was always 100% true to who I was each time I played. But I will say the first time out, especially the first time out, the editing really was really one-sided and very specific, focusing on every negative moment I had out there, which, now if you go back and watch Australia, I didn't really do anything compared to what people do now. Are you kidding? I never even lied to anybody the whole time I was there, but I was still the bitch of Survivor, which still makes no sense to me. But
Yeah,
Troyzen,
It makes total sense to me, Jerry.
shut up, Troyzen, I have to ask you this because, we're having this whole conversation about how the show really shows your true self.
Right.
What about Colton? Because this was a conversation we had so many times.
Oh, man. So
Is
easy
he
to hate
really-
that guy?
Is he really like that?
So
Is he
easy
really?
to hate him.
I mean, okay, we talk about the editing and things like, obviously when he says something that's like completely like a bigot or a racist statement, they're good. Or if they show Bill trying to talk to him, you don't even know. It's just the reaction shots. You're not sure if it's like, of course they're going to show every time he rolls his eyes, or if Bill tries to talk to him, make it look like he's not, like I'm just picking my fingernails. So I realize that they can take and make a reaction shot from anything. He hasn't been out in the world, and he's basically raised in one little dinky town in Alabama that, the only people that, mow the lawns are the black people. And so
His
he's
only
kind of like,
non-white friend as a maid, right?
I mean,
All right, so cut to the chase, Troy. If you guys lived in the same town, would he be your bro?
No, not even close.
All right, thank you. That's okay. That's
He's not.
And my wife just took off for roller derby practice, but she wanted me to tell you that she thinks you're very cute.
Oh, okay, well.
She said, "What happened? He looks really cute now."
Yeah, he didn't look like a homeless person.
He's clean. He's clean.
Clean and fed.
I had no idea it was going to be this gray
And naked.
with this weird silver fox look,
So,
Hey,
so
Troy,
I wanted to ask-
wait a
ahead,
minute, Jerry,
Sandra.
real quick. Did you hear us talking about you before you came in?
Yes, I did.
Okay, so we were talking about how you could turn everybody at Losers
Ponderosa.
Lodge at Ponderosa, and hopefully you did that. Nod your head.
Well,
And
I can
Don't
only tell
answer
you
that.
I can only tell you what you guys have actually seen or what you're going to see like on, the website right now. So what
Yeah.
you see right
Very
now is-
nice, Troyzen.
okay, and hopefully because you whispered into Kat's head, you've set her up for failure as well. So I'm hoping.
Well, I mean, actually, I'm always rooting for the underdog, and I was getting kind of tired of the top girls being so smug and a bit cocky and stepping off the challenges like, oh, we don't have to do anything, we got it all set. And Kat, you're just kind of a stupid like whatever. I mean, Kat's not the most brilliant person, but she's highly competitive.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you know what? I'm going to go for Kat. I'm going to root for Kat because she's an underdog. So I told her, before Tribal, if you want to do this, you can really, make a move. Be smart. Like, wake up and smell the coffee. Here we go. So when I went out, I said, I just leaned her. It's like, you can do it. So basically do it.
Well, what I liked about that is that was the first time where I, as a viewer, didn't think to myself, the reason he's saying, in which I applaud, and I think that everybody should go out kicking and screaming the way you did, and always plant seeds that might help you out. But in that case, you had been voted out, and you had nothing at that point to gain by telling her that one simple thing, except maybe the satisfaction of seeing the person that orchestrated your departure, seeing them go down.
Exactly. Well, right. I mean,
you can still be a player at this point. You're still going to be. The seeds you planted are still germinating as we speak.
Believe me, I went out, but I'm like, you know what? I might be out of this territory. I might be out of camp, but I'm not going to be out of the game. I'm going to do whatever I can. And when I came back into Tribal, and you'll see it, like I'm doing some stare downs, and I'm making people still. I'm like, you know what? I think I'll make them squirm a little bit and really make them what in the flying fuck is going on back there. So we'll see. Stay tuned. I don't know what they're going to show, but yeah, I mean, I wanted to plant a seed in Kat's head, and I want everybody to see me say, like, what did he say to you? What's he doing?
Yeah.
Hey, Fetus, I want you to go ahead and run that secret scene video that I sent you. You guys got to check this. This is Troyzen's final words on the tribe.
The Knucklehead tribe.
The Knuckleheads. The Hilly-Billy music is brilliant.
Oh my God!
Are those maggots?
Yes.
Oh my God! Can we just burn them?
These people are knuckleheads.
Sabrina's like, she's from Brooklyn, so she's not around any kind of animal or wildlife. She
Oh Jesus! Oh Jesus Christ! Jesus Christ! What is this?
and then Kat's like the little kid. she'll just blurt something out. Waves took my shoe. Story of my life. Ultimate fail. Epic fail. I have one shoe, but not the other shoe. That is the story of my life. She does.
Is she talking to herself?
Statements. I mean,
I think
like,
so.
I just kind of roll my eyes and like. And Christina is a complete moron. I mean, the more I talk to her, I was like, is anything happening in her brain? Hello?
I think beetle, male.
Tarzan is the strangest guy that I've ever encountered. He's like this character from another planet.
Wow.
This is just an example of how weird some of my tribe mates are. They're just like, they're out in left field.
Get the fuck out.
Kind of makes me like crazy, so I might join in for fun's sake.
I love that they kind of show you guys having
Please spare
fun.
me. I don't want to see 50-year-old penis out here. I don't.
She's lucky to get 100-year-old penis.
No. I can't. That's what my back is. He just did like a dolphin does, so his butt would come out the water. Come on.
I swear to God, I will look back on this and go, what has this one world turned into? We are the dumbest cast that I've ever seen.
Fuzzy squares. What are
Was he
fuzzy
talking about
squares?
pubic hair?
No, we always talked about, you know, don't worry about being nude. They'll put the little fuzzy things in front of you. So I'd always try to tell. I said, Christina, come on, let's just see boobs. You know, you're gonna get fuzzy squared out anyway. So let's sell some taters. You know?
Oh, okay, because I'm like, what are fuzzy squares?
But
Okay.
it used to be squares, but now it's just a fuzzy blob. So you know, we were off by.
So
we
Troy,
could've had a fuzzy blob.
I got a question for you. Was that pig drugged?
Well, that pig was.
I swear to God, that pig
That's the
looked.
slowest pig.
When he was walking around your camp, he was kind of stumbling. It was like he'd been roofied. I swear the crew
He's
fucking roofied that pig.
I mean, maybe
They
for-
said
first
that
of
in
all-
Australia.
First of all, it was a female pig, and I mean, obviously, it was probably domesticated because it came right up to me and Tarzan. We were feeding it, and the girls, they wanted to kill it, and I'm like, you guys aren't gonna even know what the hell to do to kill it. Like, are you kidding me? Like, and they acted like they were starving out of their mouths. Oh my God, a pig! We're gonna have bacon in the morning. We're gonna have ham sandwiches this afternoon. I'm like, you got what?
Comes with its own Ziploc sealer there.
Who's gonna kill? Who's gonna gut it? Who's gonna do? I mean, like, are you?
Who's gonna eat
Well, you're the
150
guy.
pounds? Who's gonna eat 150 pounds of pork before it goes rancid in the sun?
That's what Tarzan.
What, are you gonna salt it like Robinson Crusoe? Are you gonna salt it?
So
Tarzan, do you know where it came from? Did it escape from a village nearby?
Seriously, just out of the blue, it just
Production. Production.
No, I think that's a long risk.
Production.
There.
Yeah, they would. They want to put chickens out there too. We all know that.
So
They chop bamboo to build a goddamn shelter when there's no bamboo growing anywhere.
Lex, I would have known how to kill that pig.
With what?
Well, with a machete, and I would think that Alicia, being Puerto Rican, would know how to kill that pig.
The machetes were so dull, it wouldn't have went through like crap.
You can wipe your ass with those machetes.
Yeah.
That sounds like a stereotype, Sandra. I'm a little disappointed in you.
No,
You and
for
Colton,
real.
couple of
I know how to
bigots.
kill a pig. For real, we kill pigs in Puerto Rico all the time.
Yeah, but in
little
sanitary
piglets,
conditions.
the size of my puppy dog.
Yeah, with
Come
the
on.
super sharp knife, and you do it
Yeah.
humanely. I mean, I'm an animal
Yeah, you
guy.
stab him in the heart, but he still screams. They scream like a human. But that's
Yeah.
how you kill them.
Well, these girls, they wouldn't have been able to handle the screaming and all this craziness. They would have.
They'd freak out.
You might have lasted another episode, Troy.
I have a question for you because last night's reward challenge completely confused me. Like, I kept going, how can there be a right answer to these questions? Like, did you guys get asked before?
we get asked before.
the
We did that
reward?
in Fiji too. We did that.
They've done that a bunch of times.
Yeah, you sit off to the side, you answer a bunch of
And
questions.
it took a
then-
long time to do. It took
Yeah,
a long
it
time for
took
them to
forever.
compile it.
You answer all these questions, and for me, I'm like, this challenge for Troy is pointless because if three people get their answer right, guess who gets chopped? Me. I mean, like, well, I said to them, what am I doing here? It's like a point. I had no chance of winning.
So do you answer the question according to what you think the answer is, or what you think everybody else's answer is?
What you think everybody else's answer is.
The second time you do it.
Right.
The first time you answer it honestly yourself.
Right.
And then the second time you answer it how you think the group answered it.
Because
majority.
They take all the answers, everybody's answer, and then they compile it into those answer palettes. Yeah.
Exactly.
And I actually love that challenge. I wish they would do that on one of the Survivors I ever go on.
That is a cold and heartless challenge. I feel sorry for everybody because when they're talking about who's the last person, who's the one person you don't want to see ever again.
Who's annoying.
Nothing good can come out of that. It just hurts feelings.
That's why I love it.
Oh, Sandra, I love you, Sandra, but you are such a cold-hearted bitch sometimes.
Look, because that's when you know.
That's why you won $2 million.
Look, I love that challenge because that's how, like Troy said, that's exactly how you know where you fit into this tribe. Like, Kat, that should have been a wake-up call. The fact that Kim was like the most trusted and
you're smart, Sandra, you're smart.
I would have been like, okay, so then they're gonna trust her all the way to the $1 million. Like, that's bullshit.
Where everyone else is getting their feelings hurt, you'd be taking notes.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. All right, I get it. That's why you won twice.
Sandra, this leads into what the question that I wanted to ask you, because last night when Kim won and she had to pick 2 people to go on this reward with, she picked Alicia. She says because she didn't believe that she could be left behind at the camp because she might cause something to happen, you know. And then she takes Chelsea because she was emotionally attached to her. Now in Heroes and Villains, when we did the family reward challenge and I won with my sister, and I had promised Parvati that I would take her
because of the idol, I remember.
Yeah, because she sacrificed on that one bucket challenge. And then when I got to ask a second person, I took you for the same reason that Kim took Alicia, because I had a strange feeling that if you were left at camp, you would kind of start talking to Rupert and Colby. At this point, none of us knew you had the idol. And to this day, I've taken you with me on that reward challenge. Would you have exposed to Colby and Rupert that you had the idol and then gotten rid of Russell? Because you could have at that point. Would you?
No, nobody would have ever known I had the idol. I wouldn't have been hurt because nobody ever took me to challenge, to rewards like on the Pearl Islands. I never went on a reward. I don't feel like I was in your in where I would have thought you would have picked Russell, and that's why he was pissed off. I lucked out that you took me with you. But Colby would have never known about my idol. I might have, I don't think that I would have slipped up and told Rupert, although I was already mentioning to Rupert, don't worry, Rupert, you're not going to go home. And he's like, me, you, and Colby. I'm like, no, we don't need Colby. But, of course, he ran to Russell to tell him, you know, Sandra's still trying to get rid of you, blah, blah, blah. But I didn't know that you picked me because you didn't want me to cause chaos at camp.
I did.
And you thought she liked you.
Now, let me tell you this. No. But if she wouldn't have taken me, and she definitely wasn't going to take Colby and Rupert, then that would have left Russell. I would have been trying to figure something out with Russell.
That's what I'm saying. Like, if I had taken Russell and Parvati, you would have been alone with Colby and Rupert. And I think that would have been a complete game changer. And Russell, I think you would have gotten Russell out of there. And, I mean, I think about that all the time, like how that would have changed the whole game.
I don't know, Jerry. That's a hard one because, first of all, Colby never wanted to talk strategy with me, so I don't know that I would have included him or that I even would have tried to even save his skin. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you don't feel like it don't matter. He still didn't approach me like a player. I don't think he respected me. Therefore, why should I freaking use my idol on Colby? Come on.
You know what? Let's give Sandra more credit because I'll tell you, I know Rupert, I know Colby. I played the game with both of them. And those 2 wet rags, I would never entrust them with any real information. And Sandra, I think Sandra knows both of them well enough and has enough of a read on both of them to know that if she tells them anything, she might as well tell the whole world. Those 2 are, they're a couple of...
Here's the difference. In this situation, the 2 of them knew they were going next, and they were so desperate. I mean, I'm talking, I've never seen Rupert or Colby in that frame of mind ever. And I know for a fact
that makes it easy to get rid of them.
Well, And also,
but then it still would have been 3 against 3. It would have been 3 against 3. That wouldn't have helped me out, no.
Russell. No, because you had the idol, so you could play it. Is what I'm saying.
Yeah, but I'm trying to play the idol for Sandra. My idol, I always tell y'all, my idol ain't community.
If you had gotten
Sandra's, are you the only player that has not told anybody about?
No, I think there's 1 or 2 that have never told anybody an idol, but
because that's the biggest mistake. People go telling other people in the game about their idol.
Yeah, we were all like, "What are you doing, man?" When you like went
Jerry,
to Jay, we
sometimes.
Were like,
listen, this is the last thing I'm gonna say about that. Sometimes the people start thinking, okay, A, B, C, and D, and E, and F. It, for me, is very simple. It's either I'm going to do this or I'm going to do that and hope for the best. I don't A, B, C, D, E, F, G, W, X, Y, M, Z, T, V. No.
I love hearing everyone. I love the fact that, like, ex-survivors are talking about the shoulda, woulda, couldas, because I go through that shit all the time. So I'm like, oh, thank God.
Just wait.
Welcome to the rest of your life, Troy. Welcome to the rest of your life.
Some people play it over and over in their head for many weeks to come. I mean, the first 6 weeks you're going to keep playing in their head, and after a while, it's time to taper off. And if it doesn't taper off in 6 years, it's time to go back and shrink.
Yeah.
Believe me, it's like I'll be in the gym, and all of a sudden, just like my brain starts going like, wow, if I would have just talked to her, if she just would have done that, like, oh my God, drive myself totally insane. Like,
yeah, those are the what-ifers that I hate. When people are like, what if you would have, what if you would have, no, forget it.
Does you no good at all.
Yeah.
Well, that was just
Jerry, let's move on.
I was like, how weird would that have been?
No, because
I had to ask. I asked. You didn't give me the answer I think is true, but whatever.
No, for real. What I'm telling you, point blank.
I hear you. You know what?
Point
Here's a little something about Colby, and this is how desperate he was, Lex. The night that he knew he was going, he came up to me and he offered me $100,000.
Get out.
If I kept him around. He said, if you keep me around and I win, I'll give you $100,000.
You can't buy your way into the game.
I was like, A, that's totally against your contract, and B, hell no.
What a horseshit Hollywood way to play the game.
Oh yeah, I know. Believe me, I looked at him like,
God.
dude,
that is horseshit.
Yeah, I don't know.
I would have had to lay hands on him, and I would have gotten kicked out of the game.
Okay, so Troyzan, when you knew at this point that you were pretty much on the chopping block, did you ever think about looking for an idol?
Oh, I was looking. I mean, sure. I looked when I played my idol. I thought, okay, you never know. They could decide to put another idol out there. I was doubting it because I thought there's already one. You know, Colton had one. I found one. What are they going to like? Just keep putting idols out? I mean, I went and looked, but
you
know,
we all wondered that.
I mean, I looked, but like the thing was, when you're looking for an idol, you're being followed, and then if you're not being followed, you're like, well, fuck it, there's no idol because otherwise they follow.
See, it's the camera factor that we talked about.
You know.
Yeah.
Oh my God, that's
funny.
That's
just a little inside info, but you know,
when we were looking for like secret shit, we would always one of us would be looking for whatever it was we were looking for, and the other one would just be looking at the camera guy because you knew that if the camera guy pointed it at you and then would point the camera away, he was in all likelihood they were pointing at you so that the next shot would be, and there's where it actually is, and look at how far off this jackass is, and they could put that on TV. So you're like, okay, wait, you watch the camera guy, and if he goes like this, then we go to wherever it is that he's pointing.
We've had that discussion a lot about the camera kind of leading people to idols.
I mean, I faked it. I faked that I had found one. You saw me like, Kim was looking right at me, and they were totally paranoid. They're like, he's looking again. So I had a piece of cloth, and I grabbed some, doing the old stuff in the pocket. And she's like looking at me like, oh, what's he doing now? And so then I just wanted to create more paranoia because they were all paranoid. I mean, a lot of those people didn't know how to play the game, and I thought to myself, like, geez, they might think there's 10 idols out here, the idiots. So I'll just act like I've got it. And I acted like I had it. So and obviously they thought that I did because they talked about it.
So something I'm curious about, because I've never actually played the game with idols, with hidden idols.
It sucks.
One of the things I always think to myself is when somebody gets the fake idol to like throw people off, in a way you are leading people to vote for you because they want to flush it out. And that almost seems a bit foolhardy and risky because if you didn't have, if they didn't think you had an idol, they might not. You might have more alternative plans to have people vote other ways and keep you around. But as soon as you have a fake idol, or they think you got an idol, they're thinking, okay, we just got to vote for him just to flush it out.
Right.
Isn't that like putting the target on yourself?
It's true. Like if you go into the game and you know that hidden immunity idols are going to be a part of the game, yeah, it changes it because then there's like, well, did he find? He might have. But if they're not there, they would have never even looked at me like, okay, let's try to flush this, or let's try to do this, or let's try to do that.
The other thing
but look, Colton had an idol, and everybody saw it, and for weeks and weeks and weeks, nobody did shit about it. So it works in different ways because all these players play the game differently.
In previous season where you can find the idol only for those people who got sent to Exile Island get to find the idol. You know who is a possibility of having an idol. But in the recent season where they put the idol right in camp, then now the variable is much greater. It's like anybody could have found the idol. So that's a little bit different.
Well, they changed it up this year too, where if you find an idol, it might not be one that you can use. It has to be one you got to give away. So
yeah, that was a little strange.
I have a question for Troy, please.
Okay, and then I got a question for Troy after Sandra.
Okay, look, it's like Troy's our panel.
I know, I love it.
As we were watching the clips of all these different survivors interacting at camp, I want to ask you, what kind of person really is Christine? Like they're using her like a punching bag, as it was stated before, like that she takes life out there in stride. Like it's okay if they vote her off. Like I don't understand how she can be okay with a lot of the stuff that's going on. Like they tell her to her face, hey, we're going to send some votes on your way, but don't worry. Like who thinks that that's okay? I don't ever see players taking that like in a happy way, like they're going to send votes my way, but I shouldn't have to worry. No, yes, you freaking do have to worry. So tell me, what kind of person is Christina?
Yeah, especially because they thought you might have the idol, and if you pulled the idol out, she would be going home. I didn't understand that either. She was like, okay.
She's tough to get to like really know. I couldn't figure out why even from the very start the women didn't like her. They thought she was annoying. They wanted to get rid of her like right away. And I just think that the thing is she's not really focused on. She doesn't really know how to play the game. I think she feels like she does know, but she really doesn't. She's just like sliding along. She's just playing to stay around. She's never going to just step forward and play. I'm playing to win. I'm going to make a move. She's just like, well, I think I'll just slide enough. And she's very easy to told what to do. And especially since Kim was like telling everybody, she just said to any girl, like, this is the plan, and all those girls trusted her. The girls have no egos. Their egos don't get in the way. So that was easier for the women just to be like, okay, Kim's the leader, Chelsea's there too, and we'll just listen to whatever they say, and it'll get me to point A, which is to number 6, and then okay, I'll worry about it then. They never really worried about what was going to happen after that. They just wanted to stay around in the game. They never really. It's a big difference to want to win as opposed to just staying around.
Yeah, it sure is. Yeah,
there's not many of them are playing to win. And it's pretty obvious.
None of them. I mean, I tried to convince them till the cows. I mean, like blue in the face. Like you saw me. Like I have numbers. This is very easy. If you guys just do this, because you're all at the bottom, you have.
It's arithmetic.
Right.
It's arithmetic.
I mean, I'd say it straight to Christina's face, but sometimes it really was just blank stare. I was like, did you hear really one word that I just said? Just repeat the word. And I think she was just, no.
Wow.
So, I mean,
and look, by what you just said, you're telling me that everyone already knew that Kim was in charge and she was telling them what to do. So why did Kat say something to the effect of like, that she's in charge, or that nobody tells her what to do, that she's not a follower, but yes, she is. So
Kat just felt bad because she didn't want to be known as a follower. She wanted to be known as a competitive person. She knows nothing about the game. She probably watched an episode, so she's wanting to she wants to act like, I'm the leader. Why can't I'm telling people what to do. I'm like, no, you're not. Kim's telling you what to do. So you can't be a leader if you're being told every day what to do. She just got angry at herself. She got so mad she was angry at herself for looking stupid, and I just called it out. So that's why she was like so mad. I'm like, good, get mad because you're not being a leader.
But she looks stupid episode after episode after episode. Why would this one thing get under her skin?
Does she really not know what appendicitis is?
No, she didn't.
Really?
And she didn't know what ambiance was and a few other things. But like, but she's
if they had luxury items, her should have been a word of the day calendar or something. She could learn a new word every day.
It was more about she just was so frustrated that to be known as a person that wasn't a good player. And as soon as I called it out, like, you're not a leader, you're not a this, you're not a anything, she got all fired up and like, oh no, I don't want to be known as the dumb follower. So
anybody who worries about what they look like on TV ain't playing Survivor, because you shouldn't be thinking about any of the TV horseshit. You should be thinking about your game as if no cameras were around. It has nothing to do with what you look like, what people are going to think. As soon as you let the cameras get in your head and the TV show that's going to be broadcast get in your head, you fucking lost the game.
Well, that's what a lot of people were doing. It was like, how am I being perceived? How am I going to look?
That's the difference. Why it was so hard.
Yeah.
That's the difference between Survivor like 10 years ago and Survivor today.
I know.
Because when we played, we didn't even know really that many television sets. Yeah. And you said you've been trying to get on for like 11 years. You ought to have been on 10 years ago.
Yeah, I really should. I would have loved to play. Like I was a semifinalist for Africa, and so
wow.
And
hey, were you at the DoubleTree then?
Yeah, I was a semifinalist 5 times.
Wow!
So we saw each other. So we saw each other in Africa, at the DoubleTree.
Yeah. So I was Africa, the Amazon. I was a finalist for Guatemala. I mean, it was like it just.
Hey Troy, I think I took your spot because you and I are about the same age, right?
Yeah, I'm 50.
Yeah, I'm almost 49, so I think I took your spot. I'm sorry, bro.
Troy will play again. I bet you he'll play again.
Oh, I guarantee it.
Yeah. Hey, dude,
Troy,
you did an awesome job.
Troy, I got a question that has nothing to do with the game itself, but like the whole kind of post-game experience.
Right.
It looks like you're at home, which tells me that you actually got to watch your last episode at home. And you didn't have to do the whole grueling where they fly you out to New York, they put you on the early show, you have to do a bazillion interviews, and your head is totally fucking crushed in a media vice grip, and you need a shrink at the end of it to fucking get over it. It looks like you actually got to get drunk at home and watch your last episode. Is that true?
Yes, it is. I watched it by myself last night because I first of all, I knew that I was going home, and I didn't know how emotional it would be, because imagine a quest of 11 years, and my only thing was to win. It really wasn't. I never thought about $1 million. I just wanted to be known as the sole survivor, and I thought when I was on my own out there, and I was at the point where I just had to win out in immunities, I'm like, I have the chance to maybe be one of the greatest survivors of all time if I win out. Like this could be freaking awesome. Like this is a dream come true. And for that not to happen, and the fact that like all these fans and people are saying like, we're rooting for you, and they're talking about like somehow like you're still out there. You need to do this next week, and you should do that. And like, dude, it's been over for like months. Like they can like I have a cell somehow I can like I'm tweeting from the island like, oh, I'm taking a break, then I'll go back and play. I'm like so I didn't want to disappoint people, and like I just felt like so many people were rooting for me because it's an underdog story, and it's like Troyzan versus everybody, so people got like on the Troy train, and I'm like, so when I finished, it was like, oh, it's just like really, I was bummed out, because in one way it's like the 11-year journey was over last night in some ways. So it's
going to happen again, Troy. Be prepared. They're going to ask you again. I know it.
And the only thing that screwed you was that you were playing with a bunch of morons. That's what screwed you.
Yeah, I was. That's that whole luck thing that we all know.
If I look back though, I had a good numbers with. I had Colton, Tarzan, Jonas, and Leaf. Okay, those guys were kooky, but they were willing to stay together. When Colton actually left, that really hurt my game because he was a number. I mean, I don't care. Okay, he was a jerk.
These guys are all wild cards. I mean, hanging your hat on people like Colton and Tarzan, that is like, I mean, that's like playing with fucking dynamite that's been, or nitroglycerin that's been sitting in water for a year.
Tarzan wanted to be loyal, though, and that's the way he's very adamant about he's not going to change his mind. When he was with the guys, he was 100% wanting to be with the guys. He's like a general out there. He's like, we're going to infiltrate and we're going to flank him on the right, and then we're going to, he's using all his army terms. And I'm like, all right.
Did he run his mouth when did he say things that could expose you to people that you didn't want him running his mouth off?
No, not at all. I mean, he basically befriended me on the walk-in, the very first walk-in. He's like, hey, we're the same age. What do you think? He goes, he's one of these guys like, I'm going to shake your hand and I'm going to stick with you. And he's like that. So when he decided to switch over to the girls at the merge, he's like, I'm done with the guys. I'm sticking with the girls. And all he wanted to do is wait for the family, the family visit. And that's all he cared about.
Oh my God! Who are these people that they're casting?
You see,
seriously,
Troy. Now thinking back on it, do you recall a couple of episodes ago where Kim told you something about that one kid that you went after when it was a lie, or was that true and we just didn't see it? The one banker kid, the tall guy with the black hair.
Mike.
Mike.
So tall Mike. Well, he was with Matt. And he's with Bill, and he's with the frat boys.
I don't remember any of them.
The Roosters.
Those guys. Those guys were the big, studly guys, the athletic guys. And if they would have got Colton, they were going to vote me out first. I was going home. So, Mike, as soon as Matt left, well, his guy was gone, so he was being a real jerkwad. He was constantly annoying me. I'd walk by, and he'd be like, I said, you guys save some rice for me? He's like, oh, yes, sir, your highness. And I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? I'll fuck you up right here now. And I had done nothing to him, and then he would lie about who he voted for, and we'd catch him in a lie, and he would always act, I'm an honest banker. Look at me, I'm carrying wood around. Look how great I am. I'm Mr. Honest. I can get along with everybody. And he just was constantly planting seeds in people's head about me. And even Jay came up to me like at the ice cream social and said, listen, Mike's saying shit about you again to the girls. Like, you've got your own plan. Don't trust Troy. Don't trust Troy. It wasn't the first time I had heard. This is weeks and weeks of stuff that's building up. And finally, she says again, Mike's saying shit about you. I'm like, fuck that. It's like it's the straw that broke the camel's back. I'm like, this motherfucker, he's got to go now. And I'm sick of him. He's with the girls anyway. So F him. I was fired up. It wasn't just like she just said it and I just believed some crazy story.
Those guys were punks and nobody remembers who they are or what they look like. So
no. It's funny. Somebody on Twitter sent me a thing that said, hey, Jerry, are you going to give Matt your vote for a fan favorite? And I was like, Matt,
what?
Who?
Who?
Like, I literally had to go back and look him up. And once I looked him up, I was like, hell no. That guy was like the biggest chauvinist pig that's been on Survivor and so long. I've never rooted for anyone to get voted off as much as I did for him. Like, I was just like, get rid of him.
He was the original, the rooster. He was the rooster.
The Rooster King.
He wanted me to be a rooster, and we're going to go in there, and we're going to take out the chickens, and we're going to balk and crock, and, he was the rooster.
What a dumbass.
Yeah, look what happened to him.
But that's the guy that I said, to him, like, it ain't Survivor unless you're lying. And I lied to him. So he basically is the only guy I lied to, but I felt like he was guy.
Hey, I wrote that down when you said it. I actually wrote it down like my Godfather one where he's like, don't go against the family and da-da-da. When you said that, I wrote it down. I know it's kind of stupid of me, but I loved it. It's true. It's not Survivor if you're not lying. Come on.
It ain't Survivor unless you're lying.
As a matter of fact, I wrote it right here when he said, who said nobody's playing to let someone else win? Who said that the other day?
What's that?
Someone said, nobody's playing to let someone else win. Somebody said that.
Yeah, but in this season, a lot of people evidently are, because Tarzan just wanted to get to the family challenge.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of people were out there they really were just playing from like hour to hour. If they felt like, well, I can be another day, I don't have to do anything, I'm not going to strategize. I mean, Leaf is a great guy. He's a really nice guy, but he was just at Camp Samoa having a good old time, getting the wood, and we're building the fire. We're going to run around and sleep in a box.
Did he really sleep in a box all that time?
Oh, that box
He
was
slept
awesome.
in that box. Yeah.
I wish I could sleep in a box because that box was warm. It got cold out there, like a fucking. I mean,
And no bugs.
well, I mean, there were some bugs, but like the thing is, I was out there in a Tommy, like a Tommy Bahama short sleeve shirt and shorts. I mean, these other guys had jeans. I mean, Matt had a fucking white shirt, long sleeve, and a cardigan, like a cashmere sweater.
Oh.
And I'm like, what the F? Like, why am I getting stuck in, like, the freezing shit? And it's like, so I'm like, dude, if I could sleep in a box, because he closed that lid, and that thing was sealed in. It was like a warm little, like, igloo. I mean,
We
he'd
were
wake
all
up.
Yeah.
so
That's
jealous.
bullshit. Jerry had a lot of clothes too. That was bullshit.
Oh.
Jerry had a bunch of stuff.
That's called
okay.
smart planning, people.
No, on All Stars, remember Jerry on All Stars. They told us we gave them a bunch of clothes and they picked our outfit. And I remember Richard Hatch shows up. He's got long pants with the fucking the bottoms that zip off. He's got a fucking shirt and he has a fleece hoodie. What did they give me? I got a pair of board shorts and a fucking wife beater.
Yeah, right.
Fuck you, Mark Burnett and Steve.
I think they go after the older guys and say, yeah, fuck it. These old guys, they can put them in anything. They're gonna just like suffer the old scrappers, Like
Yup.
Jonas said, he would look at me at night and go, God damn, this fucking guy's got like nothing on, and he's like just taking it like a man. And Jonas is like, I feel guilty. He's got the full sushi thing on with the jeans.
Right. And I'll tell you, Richard Hatch had, he had a nice layer of blubber. And so that, there's an insulation factor with the blubber. And Troy, you and we're lanky dudes. I get cold.
I was skin and bones out there. Tarzan, he was a big guy, and he's like snoring away like there's no tomorrow. I mean, I stayed on that fire like it was gold. I mean, I was not letting that fire go out. I mean, I built fires to the point where like, at one night, I woke up all the girls. They thought I was actually going to fry them to death because it's this huge bonfire just blazing. It's like, and bamboo burns hot as hell. And all of a sudden, Chelsea wakes up. Whoa, what the fuck is burning us? I start fucking laughing. Like, it's huge. Fucking, I'm like, I'm not going to get cold, goddammit.
He was having Roper fires.
Yeah, we kept talking about how much food there seemed to be on this season. Like, every challenge was for food, like picnics and like tons of barbecues. And like, did you guys ever really get hungry? Because it doesn't look like it on the show, and I know we don't see a lot.
Yeah, I mean, I was always hungry. I mean, I always felt this feeling of being hungry. I never felt like I was starving, but I always felt hungry. And the way that it looks in the show, it's like we got so much food like every week. But there's 3 and 4 days that go by where it's like, okay, you eat one good meal, but then 3 days later you haven't really eaten anything. And the thing was, for me, I was always trying to strategize, so I didn't really want to go out and fish. And I didn't want to go out and look for that much food because I didn't want to miss anything, and I had to keep track of like who's doing what. I was constantly writing people's names in the sand or figuring out, like wake up at 4 in the morning, like, okay, she's doing this, she's doing that, and calculating constantly like what I wanted to do and who I wanted to talk to first, because a lot of times the girls didn't want to talk to me, they didn't want to be seen with me because like, oh, what's she doing with Troy? What now? Is she going to make a move? So it's like it was even hard to just pull them aside. So I mean, I think compared to like Lex's season, you guys look like what? I mean, we had coconuts. We had at least coconuts laying around. If I was hungry, I'd go grab a coconut. I could drink the juice and eat the inside of a coconut to just hold myself.
I mean, we almost killed each other. I mean, you remember the whole infamous like Clarence Cherry.
Right.
Debacle where he ate or the
beans.
the beans. And we actually and at that same episode, I think we had like a knockdown drag out fight over somebody that ate one extra cherry or something out of turn. I mean, we were like out of our minds, like in the cartoons where you look at the other guy in the aisle and he turns into a giant hot dog and the guy looks at you and you're like a giant hamburger. We were totally out of our heads from starvation and honestly from dehydration because we had no fucking water either.
Yeah,
so we were just, I mean, totally out of our heads.
Yeah,
Africa was definitely, I think, the worst conditions of any season. I know
it was
Australia,
stupid. They've never done it again.
No, in Australia, we had no food there either. Like absolutely nothing. And
I think Survivor's
the starvation part
I
is
think
crazy.
I think they've changed it a lot in that way, where it's like they just don't want people to drop out. They're so worried. I mean, and Jeff is telling us like don't quit. Please don't quit. They want people to stay. They want people to stay around. If you're really going to starve the hell out of somebody, the chances, and especially at some of these people that are really not fans of the show, or they don't know anything about the show, they just got picked from some nightclub, or
which is bullshit.
They got picked off the internet because they made a mistake. If they're starving out of their minds, you know what? They're gonna fucking quit. So
I gotta ask you this, Troy, because we've talked about this on this show so many times, and I think in you we have a uniquely qualified person to answer this question, because A, you're a new school player, but B, I would argue that you're an old school player that's playing a new school season, because everything you're saying I relate to, and you just seem really cut from the same cloth as the old school players. So we've always talked about that in these last, 10 seasons, it seems really like not a big deal for players. Players don't think it's that big a deal to quit the game. And honestly, in Africa, you could have almost offered us $500,000 to quit, and most of us would have said, fuck you, I'm not a quitter, I would rather die than quit. And now people are quitting on a wholesale scale. So do you think that they're casting a different kind of person for the most part on these newer seasons now?
Oh, for sure. They're casting people that I think that they feel like is somehow going to create drama. They're saying, okay, we got this guy, this type here, and is he going to match or not match with this guy, this person here, as opposed to really people that are truly, love the game, and like I said, I play for nothing, but you got to kill me to get me out of the game. Like when I would watch before and I'd see someone want to quit, or even a guy that oh, my leg hurts, or one season I forget the guy's like, I know my body's breaking down and I know when I have to. I'm like, I'd go.
That was the Pearl Islands. That was Austin.
The black dude.
Yeah,
Austin.
that almost drowned in the water.
He broke the seal. He broke the seal. First quitter.
I just was like, I'd look at these people, and especially if it was a guy, I'm like, you fucking took my spot, you piece of shit. Like, so they knew in me that there was no quit. Even if I got injured, really, you'd have to drag me off. But it's a different cast now, because I don't think they're taking everyone that's sending in a video or sending in an audition tape. They're finding some people that okay, let's find this person. They got a kooky personality. They're going to be good on the show.
I think they're going up against the other shows where there are a lot of fighting and personality conflict, and they're looking for people who are good looking, and that rather than playing the survivor game, which in the old school, that's what it is. But now
old school.
Here I am. I'm good looking and I can play survivor.
So Troy, there are a ton of people out there that have tried like you probably 10, 15 times to get on the show, and they're probably they all have one question.
How do you do it?
What is it that made this attempt that got you on this season? What made that different? How did you get on after all those times, and why should they keep trying to get on the show?
I knew I stayed, first of all. It felt like I was always hardcore. This is the old school people, I feel, are just hardcore, a little more. We could really just, take the shit, and whatever you brought. Exactly. They're old school definition Lex, So, it's like, fuck. So, I think it was, first of all, I grew my hair out a little bit. I'm like, if I'm gonna really, be this Troyzan guy, and
please tell me you didn't try to look like Coach. Please tell me you didn't try that.
Believe me, people kept saying to me they would compare me to, oh, he looks like Coach, he's like Coach, and they would always ask me, who do you think you're like? I'm like fucking nobody. I'm Troy. I really was adamant. I'm not going to play like somebody. I'm nothing like Coach, not even close.
No, because you play the game. He doesn't. He thinks he can change it.
He's religious. I think he's kind of fake.
No, he's not.
That's phony. That religion is phony.
The whole thing.
No, he is religious. You have no idea what religion he is. He's making it up.
He made up his own Ko-Chi. It's not even Tai Chi. It's Ko-Chi.
Yeah, but well, first of all, I have to say, like, I didn't name myself Troyzan. I didn't say like, call me Troyzan, please, or I don't walk around.
How'd that happen?
Yeah, where did that come from?
Here, I'll tell you. So it's like, because some people think like, oh, this guy's such a tool. He wants to be known as Troyzan. And this 50-year-old fucking kook, like, but no.
Full disclosure, we all said that. I mean, I'm going to out everybody, but we all said, what the fuck does that guy think?
Yeah, I know. I listen
and
to this.
Tarzan in the same episode.
I listened to RTV Zone for the last 10 weeks, so I heard everything that.
Oh shit! Fire hell! All right, so set the record straight. Set the record straight.
So I've worked with primates for the last 20 years. I've raised a family of 12 marmoset monkeys. Like basically in my backyard, I have like a jungle. I built them like a rainforest. I adopted the first one, and I wanted to raise them as monkeys, not like his crazy pets where I'm going to teach him how to do stupid stuff. Wow. And then I started working with chimpanzees and orangutans, and from that, a friend of mine, a coworker from Sports Illustrated, who gives everybody nicknames. He goes, you know, you're kind of like this Tarzan. So he said, it's a play on words as a joke. He was like teasing me. He goes, I'm going to start calling you Troyzan. Well, then Troyzan stuck. Somebody else calling me that. My mom and dad heard that. They started calling me that. But then my neighbors started calling me it. It just kind of, and it's, you know how a nickname goes. Once people start calling you that, they just call you that. But I mean, I'm called Troyzan. It all depends on the day of the week. So out there, when I heard that for the first day, you know, he goes, Jeff's like, you know, hey, old man, you know, in the shirt, what's your name? He goes, I'm Greg. I want to be called Tarzan. I went, oh, Jesus. If I tell this guy that I want to be called Troyzan or that my nickname's Troyzan, I look like the biggest tool on the planet. So I'm like, I'm not going to say anything. Well, I started talking to Tarzan, and he actually works with primates as well. And he owns lemurs, and he's got like all kinds of exotic pets. And we kind of connected on that part. And somehow it came up with nicknames. And I said, well, you know, this is silently. I said, well, honestly, like, you know, some of my friends and family call me Troyzan. I thought it was weird that your name was Tarzan. So like he just started kind of, then he thought, oh, that's cool. I'm going to start calling you that. Well, like one of the challenges before, Jeff asked Tarzan questions, and he said, well, Troyzan, blah, blah, blah. And Jeff's like, Troyzan? Well, wait a second. Your name is Troyzan? I said, well, I
outed you.
And I'm kind of like, well, I am called that at home. And then it just stuck. Obviously it was like, they loved the fact that there's a Troyzan and a Tarzan. Casting obviously knew it, and they're like couldn't wait for it to come out to have the two Zans on the show. So
wow,
yeah, the battle of the Zans is what Probst said.
But it never was. I mean, never was a battle. I mean, I get along great with Tarzan, and I you know, we'll be friends. He's not as nutty and kooky as he comes out. I mean, he's very eccentric, but he's highly intelligent, and you know, some of the stuff that he was doing, you know, was. I feel like it was for the cameras. I mean, he knew the camera was there. It's like, you know, okay.
Yeah, I mean,
let's play up the old blue Speedo action, you know. Let's see.
Don't make Fetus bring that picture back up.
Oh, his dirty underwear, remember? Was it really chocolate? Was it really chocolate? Or what did he say, fudge?
Well, he said it was dirt. I mean...
God, I thought we were past that.
I'm surprised. I'm really surprised that they can show the nards hanging like that. You know, like that's like freaking crazy.
No fuzzy square.
Nothing.
I know, none.
Hey, Troy, speaking of fuzzy squares, do you actually really get to make your living taking pictures of bikini babes?
I do. I mean, yes. I work with Sports Illustrated, and I've been on the swimsuit issue for the last, I think, 6 years.
Nice.
And then you like primates.
What's that?
And then you like little monkeys and other.
And
primates.
you raise monkeys. You've got like this charmed life.
I know. I'm so jealous.
I don't have a girlfriend.
I'm in a cubicle.
Girlfriend. I mean, no, you don't.
You got monkeys.
Listen,
you got monkeys.
If you spend all day work and your work is to take pictures of bikini babes, you don't need a girlfriend. All right.
Oh man.
And wait till they hear about this.
Young man would get fired on day one. Young man would go and he'd pull one of the tops down and it'd be over.
Yeah. Oh my God. Okay, well,
Gary, I have to leave.
Yeah, before this goes really bad, I need to wrap this up, you guys. So I just want to say thank you to everybody who showed up. And Troyzan, it was so great having you here.
Troyzan, so nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. Hopefully we'll meet somewhere else.
Thank you for coming.
I hope
Remember
we
to
can meet
donate
up
rtvzone.com, and yeah, hopefully we'll all get to meet Troy Zan in person. That'd be great.
Yeah, but he's going to Celebration, right?
Yes, I am.
Okay, I'll be there. I'll see you
Just
there.
down the street from you. Okay.
Yeah,
Good.
up the street.
All right, you guys have a great night. We'll see you soon.
Thank you.
Okay.
Good night. Bye. Oh,